Number one, I think the lack of rhyme there is a disservice to what you kind of had, the flow that you had going there. But also, you could have put, instead of getting coffee, the same number of syllables as Popeye's chicken. So you could have said Popeye's chicken, Arco steak.
And we're all geriatric, and we're just like sneezing and dying and coughing, and we're all
I'm not
sick
geriatric.
I'm actually quite healthy.
Yeah. Hey, me too.
I could do like cartwheels right now if I wanted to, but I'd probably break something.
I think that happy emote was like my favorite thing ever. Me right now while Cosmic has COVID.
Dude, half the podcast is jumping for joy, and the other half of the podcast is just like.
Well, hey, I was I was like sick like last week or whatever, but I just chugged 4 bottles of Tylenol and I got unsick before it got really bad. So,
dude, that's crazy. You might give yourself whatever the right wingers think it'll give you.
Oh, I already got plenty of that shit. All right, let me tell you what,
dude. Just fucking.
We already dumb as hell. Let me tell you, bricks in my head, nothing else.
Straight
I should have brushed my hair.
On and off the court, straight up fundamentals.
God damn.
Zaza got me connecting the dots.
Dude, COVID took me out so hard that like I was sitting there playing Returnal a little bit earlier, and this was like the first time I'd actually like stayed up for more than like 30 minutes between, you know, like bouts of napping. And then all of a sudden, like my thighs were like, we don't work anymore because you haven't used us for like two days straight or whatever.
A couple years, depending on how we're counting.
I just had to get up and stretch, dude, and just like actually get the muscles like moving again. And I was like, God damn, good thing we don't have to stand up for this podcast.
Yeah,
Otherwise
dude, my brother actually also got COVID. That's why I was like slightly terrified, because I was like,
everyone stand up. Make sure you don't have a boner while we're recording. Can't have that. I like how Jax is the only one that stood up.
Jax is the only one.
yeah, because I have the confidence, because I do not boner. I don't boner.
I just don't feel like getting up.
That's also fair.
Well, now I feel obligated to
I feel like
up.
Cosmic's not tall enough to show us whether or not he would have a boner in this moment.
With the jeans on.
Tilt the camera
wearing
down,
the jeans
bro.
as usual.
I can't stand up.
Damn,
even though nobody
fold.
asked, we delivered. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I think
you're delivering something else.
And my name is Boner.
My name is Boner 2.
My name is DECosmic.
My name is Boner_02.
I didn't expect that one. That was pretty good. I like that one. I like that one.
Pretty all right.
Hey, you know what's a boner is you said you're Boner. Jaxler could have said he's Boner 1, and then I
should have said Boner Junior or something like that.
Yeah.
True.
Or Boner
should have started
Junior.
at 0, and instead Jaxler started at
Could
1.
have said Bonler.
I could have been maybe Boner Origins or something like that.
He could have been Bonler.
Bonler 1.
Bonler or something. I don't know.
Dude, he's boning
And then-
pumpkins. We should start this rumor that Jax bones pumpkins, guys. I think that's...
I like that. I like
Dude,
that.
that's
do on this
like
podcast.
that's a
kind of
fast track. Dude, fucking a gourd is like a fast track to a UTI. That's like insane
gourd?
behavior.
Is
It's
a
true.
pumpkin a
Yeah.
gourd?
No, I feel
Well,
like
there's
it's
already
Gourd was like
that.
a giant like cliff. Like a riff.
There's
No,
already that.
that's a
gorge.
gorge.
No, that's a gorge, yeah. There's already that.
then gorging on
meme
food
about
is
the-
like
I
what?
feel like
There's
that's
already the
close
meme about
enough to the same thing.
There's
No,
like
not
a U
really.
in gourd, and there's no U in gorge.
You're a you.
There's no G in
I am a U. See, I don't know if I've. You know, this is funny. I don't know if
Wow,
I've
what a
ever
throwback.
talked about this. I'm gonna do the millennial limp wrist on the podcast because
What?
I've had a U shape. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. I have a U shaped
Look at
scar
the fuck
on
of
my
that
wrist.
Whoa.
Ew.
Dang.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man.
You said flick of the wrist. Yeah,
Guys,
I gotta do the millennial.
me and Cole
limp wrist.
launched an album. I'm just we're done with this wrist bit.
NEP.
Why did you shout it out like that?
Yeah, speaking of limp wrist,
Guys,
I mean,
we
limp
Me and
wrist.
Cole made an
Watched
album.
an
It was
album.
good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
And we're now going to talk about like how we made it all that shit. But first, let me take a
This
selfie.
episode,
Sorry, I was trying to find the
this
reference in
episode's
the head.
brought to you by
Blood Thunder. Twitch.tv/Blood Thunder. He has sponsored the podcast yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, he is streaming
you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't tuned into streams a couple days. He's probably switched games by now. Cosmic,
I can't wait for
he wasn't on my Twitch recap.
He's grinding something for GDQ and he's doing well. And
Amnesia the Bunker.
You should go subscribe to him right now with your Twitch Prime, which is free. All right, now that the Blood Thunder segment is over, everyone, what are your reactions to the album?
We made an album! Yay!
Oh my god, yeah! Hashtag ad. This whole intro
ad.
is just an ad, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, outro last episode, intro this episode. I think my big thing before I even listen to it is like just the fact that like you made it and put it out there, and like that in and of itself. Like I don't like that's like one thing I just want to say right off the bat is the fact that like you did the thing you said you were gonna do and finished it and made it, and like actually like making something and putting it together and just letting it go is like that's actually really for anything creative is just like a lot. Let it go. I can't sing today because my voice is fucked.
Thank you.
This is unfair. Yeah,
I don't think you can take a compliment.
I mean, even before, like that was my thing too. It's just because I also, behind the scenes, I knew how long y'all had been kind of working on that, and for me, I was also just like, oh, I can actually like talk about it now and be like, oh, my friends made an EP. This is freaking sweet.
We made a PP.
Cosmic, maybe if you had any like thoughts, maybe
this is so sad.
You can't. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, a friend's Discord just got hacked in real time, and I was like,
nice. Which one?
Sorting that out.
The spam ad everyone.
No, it was another one of the DMC runners, Fiery. So I'm like doing a little bit of damage control real quick. So let me do this real quick.
I guess to give people more context about like what this is and why we did it. So I don't even remember when it was. A long time ago, I said to Cole, I was like, "Hey Cole, do you want to do a 30-day challenge where we make music?" And he was like, "Sure." And then I don't know what I'm doing in this tone. It's really funny to me. Yeah. And then like 6 months later, we decided to sit down for 30 days, not consecutively because we're way too busy to do that, but like 30 days in the span of like maybe like a month and a half to 2 months. In 30 days, we wrote the album like as kind of like a challenge.
You clocked in, clocked out.
And then it kind of like became this thing where like we started and like the first 15 days we were like, we don't know how to make a song like at all. So really
which we actually...
Go ahead.
It's like on one hand, it was like we purposefully did that because we were like, we want to be creative and we don't want to like, like we want to go into it without knowing anything so we can make like cool stuff and not. And then we were like, no, we should probably know how to make songs and stuff like that. But I think we came up with the idea like February or something like that, because then what ended up happening was I released my Wii Fit video in May. I immediately started that Scooby Nuzlocke, which I'm still making a video about that in June. And then if anybody didn't remember,
EP before finishing the Scooby video.
I know.
Priorities.
And I don't know if anybody remembered watching my streams, but I was like, I want to get this Nuzlocke done by June or July is gonna suck. And I finished it like right at the end of June. And I was like, yay, July will surely be a much less busy month. And then it was wrong. It was wrong.
Nope. It's pretty wrong.
But I think at the beginning, I was like a little frustrated at like the process. But then like after like the first week, I was like, okay, I understand it now. But honestly, I don't even know, like I just helped like compose and write the songs, but like all the mixing and stuff like that was done by Nestani and I guess I also made the album cover, but you know, like
it was
Nestani definitely carried more weight, but yeah, we both collaborated, but I feel like you carried a little more weight.
I mean, I just did the backbone stuff
I did.
pretty much, but yeah, it was funny because like the first 15 days we were like, yeah, we're gonna make an album. We were like, yeah, it's gonna be like 8 tracks, 10 tracks. We're gonna make a full album, and then the first half we just couldn't even make one song, and so we were like, it's now an EP because we burned half the days just trying to figure out how to do ABC.
How to music.
Like, what the fuck is the song structure? Because it's like funny because like you at least for me, I went into it and I was like, oh, this will be fine because like I've listened to so much music. Surely. But there's like a difference between just like listening to music and then like actually like listening and like dissecting it and being like, oh, like it's verse, chorus, sure, but like what are they doing in the verse versus what are they doing in the chorus? How do they change it in verse 2? How do they change it in the second chord? Like there's like a lot of like little stuff and literally just like how to go from like chord progression to chord progression. That was like the big thing that like needed to be figured out before we could even like start on the whole like fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then like once we got that down, like literally after we shut out the first song, which maybe was probably like 17, 18, 19 days in, we wrote the other 4 in like the last like 10. Like
damn.
I don't remember the timeline exactly.
It was basically like we got the first one, and as soon as the first one, it just opened the floodgates because we were like, oh, we get it, we see the vision now.
So neither of you had any like formal music training, I assume?
I learned how to play the clarinet in like middle school, but that's basically it. Enough. I've never like composed music or anything like that.
I've never done composing, but I've had plenty of like music theory and music. Yeah. But like it's funny because all that stuff doesn't translate. Like I know a shit ton of music theory. Like I know scales, I know chords. Like I played tuba for like 8-9 years. Like, and I was like one of the best in the state. But like it wasn't like
writing a song is quite different.
It's different than just playing. You know. Because playing, it's already made for you. It is different
than just playing. And it's different than just playing, like, in pieces as well. You know? Like, I mean, fortunately, with the way that a lot of music has evolved over the years, now song structure is a lot more fluid. There's a lot more room to just kind of make a song that's different across the whole, like, 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes or whatever you want to do. You know, I want to say, like, 20 years ago, a lot of it adhered more to the, like, intro, verse, chorus, and then bridge type structures, particularly like even in like the indie scenes, right? Like indie and
like most things,
and metal and punk scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Now we see a lot more of like pretty fluid song structures, which I think is really like the only logical progression to go. And I mean, I saw a lot of like in a way that like a lot of like you guys structured like the shorter songs, especially, it seemed a little more fluid than like how Midnight Sun was a lot more structured. I felt like the actual title track.
Yeah.
Can I ask like what the order was in term? Because I had a thought, but I wanted to confirm. Like, what was the order in which you like worked on these tracks in terms of like not like the mixing mastering, but like you know.
Well, I know that answer, but like. That answer is easy. I know that answer. But
I feel like
because that just happened.
Like Ghost in the Hourglass was actually one of the first ones that we put in the DAW.
I could look at the dates on my folder.
I know Mirage was last. Mirage was like one of those where I was like, hey, I had this vocal melody and this melody, and sure, and we were like, cool. I think it went Ghost in the Hourglass we made first, and then Lost, and then I made the interlude like randomly, and then like the interlude I made, and then we didn't change it at all.
Was the first thing that you made, I think.
Okay.
Wasn't it? No, because that wasn't the same thing as Lost.
So the thing is a little lore is that there's a song that I made that never made it on the album because I took it too seriously.
Oh yeah, that was the very first song we wrote.
That was the first thing. Yeah.
Scrapped. I thought it was fine. He didn't.
I didn't like it. I took it. I put too much baggage on it. Like my expectations were too high, and then I feel like it became a lot better when like most of these songs I didn't. Not that I didn't take it seriously, but like I didn't like make it so like I let the perfectionism go away kind of thing. But maybe interlude. I feel like Lost and Interlude were great at the same time.
Good.
I think you're right. I think it was Ghosts, and then it was either Midnight Sun or Lost, and then Mirage was definitely last. But I remember like the bass riff in Ghost is how that song just came to be.
Yeah, and I think that was you.
Yeah,
who started that one. Yeah.
So what was the decision behind putting Midnight Sun as the first track of the EP? Because I feel like that track stands quite differently from the rest of the album. So I did honestly have an expectation of how the rest of the EP was going to sound.
And then you realize that no sound song is similar to one another.
None of the other tracks sound like that. So, I mean, I get that you want to start it off with like a punch, but I almost felt like you should have ended the whole thing with that track. So, what was the decision behind not ending it with that? What was the decision behind opening with it?
Well, I would say this one was mainly my decision. So, in my head, I was just like, when you click on this album, like in general, like I want you to know that it's a duo project, right? And this is the only song on the album where both of us are doing vocals on it. Because Cole does all the vocals on Lost, he does all the vocals on Mirage, and I do all the vocals on Ghosts. And so this is the only song with both of us on it. And so I wanted that to be like prominent that this is a duo group. Now, obviously, like, you know, personally speaking, I would have rather had more duo stuff on this album. For example, Lost used to be, both of us used to be on Lost, but we changed that 15,000 times. That song sucked. We had to change that many times, but
I feel like that song or Ghosts was probably like the one that we had to. Well, I guess in mixing Ghost was like a struggle.
Mixing Ghost was a nightmare, but writing it was kind of fine. It was kind of, but back to the thing though, the order was pretty much like, I kind of just, so Lost and Interlude are a package deal, right? Like they go into one another because that's how Cole wrote those like structures broadband. And so they go into one another. And then really, I kind of started from there. I was like, okay, I do Lost in the Interlude. What comes after that? I was like, okay, after the interlude, it's easy. You put Mirage there because it's kind of in no man's land. And then really Midnight Sun and Ghost could have been flip-flopped. It didn't really matter, but I opted for Midnight Sun first just because both of us were on it. And I think it also kind of tees up everything else in the album too, because there's a synth solo that happens in that song, which there's a lot of synths on the album at large, but specifically the next song, Lost, there's another giant synth solo there. And then it also introduces the screaming, which is on the last track. And then obviously introduces Cole as the vocalist, which makes sense for Lost and Mirage. I just think it hits on Midnight Sun. It kind of hits all the notes of everything that me and Cole brought to the project. Because I feel like that song holistically is, in my opinion, it's my favorite one, just outright, just because Midnight Sun was the one that was so collaborative. Like every single part of that song was like so intertwined with both of our styles. And I think that's like, stylistically, that's the one where we actually meshed our styles. Because, for example, I would say that Mirage and Lost are definitely more of Cole's style, and Ghost is definitely more of my style, right? But I feel like we kind of met in the middle on Midnight Sun, which is funny because because originally, like the verse where I rap, I didn't want to rap, and then Cole was like, "Well, what if you did it anyway?" And I was just like, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was this whole ordeal because
what did you want to do instead?
It was just going to be screams. It was going to be like
I don't know, I felt like it
was going to be like a screaming verse and then like a regular like singing chorus. I think it turned out well, but
yeah, I'd say so too.
But I would say that's the reason for the order, is that it just kind of felt natural to like start and be like, hey, there's two different distinct people on this project.
Two different people. Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's interesting though that you mentioned like the fusion of like you and Cole's styles on that first song, but it's like to me, like Lost, Mirage, and Ghosts all feel like they belong as part of the same project still, like fundamentally.
I would agree with that.
That's because you both worked on them, but it's like it didn't like obviously it felt like different angles rather than different styles, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Maybe Mirage a little less, just because Mirage is kind of its own.
Mirage is like the
black sheep,
not the ugly duckling. What's the other?
Black sheep.
Yeah, the black sheep.
It's it's like, there.
Because I just came up with it on the fly, and all these other ones are like raw emotion. Like,
can you tell we ran out of time
overworking?
That's kind of what
I think I like Mirage instrumentally. Yeah, I think it's very fun and simple, but
that's probably my biggest like comment over the course of this whole project. Is I think like the strongest thing about it is like the instrumentation and like the
instrumentality,
production of it.
Yeah,
probably.
I'd say so.
production.
I think
think
the guitars probably could have used a bump up in the mix to me, but also I'm a guitar player, so
Yeah.
naturally
some
I'll think
bias.
that.
That was actually intentional by me because I don't play guitar.
Yeah.
And
Shocker
I only
to
had
no one.
actually, what's funny is this weekend my family friend let me borrow an electric guitar, and I was like, well, why didn't I think of
Yeah.
asking this person?
Yeah,
when
that
I
would
was
have been
making
that would
the
been good
album?
when we were making it. I'm just saying because he actually could play
But
guitar.
I didn't know that he had one. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, the
uh,
reason for
yeah.
that though is because first of all, I play bass, and second of all, I like bass, and third of all, like really, like it was more of a
Bass.
focus in Midnight Sun. I feel like Ghosts, I got the mix a little bit more like evenish between them, but I think in Midnight Sun, the bass is intentionally louder than the guitar because it has its own groove and riff. Because that entire song was built off the bass. Like the bass was the first thing. Like I came up with that groove,
Yeah.
and then we kind of just like built on top of it and around it, and it changed a couple times. But like it was like I wanted it to be prominent, at least in the first song. And I think Ghosts, I fought with that song mix wise for 87 years. So it's
Yeah.
I could have mixed that for
there's
like
a lot of drafts.
a whole month by itself, and I still probably wouldn't have gotten it where I wanted to get it. So I just kind of let it go.
But that's kind of the beauty of the restriction of the 30 days, where it's like it forces you to be okay with it not being.
Well, that
perfect.
wasn't really a restriction though, because that was on the mixing and mastering side. But I would say
was
another.
that not subject to the 30-day? Like,
No, I did not
No,
mix
30
the album in 30 days. No,
Yeah.
I've been mixing the album for 2 months.
Yeah, it's been for a while.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, like we wrote and composed everything in 30 days, and then I guess
Mixing and
we
mastering.
had to re-record something.
Yeah, so let's zoom out. So we wrote everything basically in 30 days, and then we recorded everything that needed to be re-recorded. So
Yeah.
like, for example, a lot of the bass stuff I re-recorded because throughout the process, my bass broke, and then I got a different bass to keep writing on, and so then I had to re-record
Oh, wow.
everything with my actual bass, which sounds better than the one that my buddy Johnny lent me. And so like I recorded that, like we recorded everything, and then obviously like vocals, we went back and like actually record it, and that like took like a multiple week process of just like getting vocals, practicing, taking them, like, and then after that, like after we finally got everything recorded, because it was also like we would record vocals, and then we would like, okay, now that we have these dry things, we would do like little effects and stuff on them or whatever, and just to kind of like embellish it out before we actually did the final vocal takes, and then after that is when mixing began, but like from like we didn't change any major song structure from that on, well, besides Lost, I guess, because Lost we did kind of just cut out a part of that
Yeah.
song. That was the only
I was
like
gonna
the
ask
only
why it
major
was so
change
short
that
compared
happened
to the
out
rest.
of yeah, that was the only major change that happened outside of the 30 days, was because we had an original idea where it was like an angle and a devil on your shoulder, and we just could not get it sounding it correct. This was definitely more of a me push on this one, because I just didn't think it like fit well enough.
Yeah.
And so we kind of
That's
just
fair.
combined both the angle and the devil verses. I like how I said angel and then I corrected myself to angle. That was diabolical.
That's awesome.
But we
Wild,
combined
honestly.
both of
What a
those
guy.
verses together to kind of make the one that you hear on the record. And I think it turned
Yeah.
out way better. Like I think,
Yeah.
and well, I guess I won't speak that into existence because, yeah.
Now I do
I
have,
have
a question for you two, Cole.
Oh yeah, sure.
Before you
Well,
go.
I have a question for Cole.
Yeah,
So,
well, I have a quick
Cole-
question first
Wow,
for you two.
Okay,
this is
Yeah.
sure.
we're
Mine's
fighting
even
this.
quicker, but you know.
Mine's even quicker. Which is your favorite track on the album? I'm curious. Or
I
do you
just
hate
gotta
them
go
all?
with Midnight Sun.
Midnight Sun?
Just Midnight Sun, pretty easily.
That's
love it? Do you
interesting
hate it? What
because
would you rate it?
I was gonna try to find a way to say this at some point. I think Midnight Sun is my least favorite song on the AP.
Oh,
Interesting.
Hmm.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Interesting.
I just like to and
Is it
like
because I'm
I
a
think it
poser
was
rapper?
no, that actually wasn't the thing. For me, it was like that's why I asked the question of what order did you like write the tracks in, because it felt like you got more confident in your writing and your delivery as the album went deeper into the track list. Like
interesting.
There was a thought that came into my mind that felt really rude when it popped into my brain, but I'm just gonna say it the way it came anyway. Like when like Cole starts singing at the start of Midnight Sun, like it almost sounded like he was like afraid of the microphone he was speaking into a little bit. Like I was just like,
was that the first one we recorded vocals on? I don't know.
I cannot tell you that.
I don't remember if
That's
maybe
rough,
Mirage
Chief.
was.
I
hate my vocals in this whole thing personally, but it's also me. So like you kind of hate your own vocals.
The problem is that you hear your own voice not through your ears, but like through your skull.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
so it
hearing
does
your
sound good.
voice back
Exactly.
on recording isn't going to sound right or not weird, right?
But it's
So that's
I don't
part
know.
of it.
It's
I think
weird.
it was also more so as well for you specifically, Cole, that your voice and your style of delivery, I think, fit a lot better with some of the instrumentation on like Lost or Mirage, for example, where it's just
true.
like it felt like it was better, it was more supportive of like what your strengths were, if that makes sense. To actually answer Nestani's question though, like this is like,
After shitting on us.
no. But to like actually like, you know, like answer the question though, like I don't mean this in a like it's between two for me. It's I think Ghosts, like I know we were talking about like, oh, we could flip Midnight Sun and Ghosts. I think Ghosts like should have been the closer. Like I just think like
Ghost is the
how
closer.
it is. Yeah, well, it is the closer, but like
I think he was
as, like,
repeating you, Cosmic, because you said that it would probably be better if it was flopped.
Yeah. Because
I
I just
see what you mean.
Yeah.
because you know, I was finishing up listening. I listened to most of it today, and then I was like finishing up the last like
Right before the
bit of
podcast, guys. He
right
didn't
before the
listen to it. We waited for him to listen to the thing. Right before.
Hey, this means it's like fresh.
No.
It is fresh.
I listened.
True.
He's fresh.
It is fresh. I listened
Subway.
like through the interlude at like 3 to 4, like from like 3 to 4 p.m. today. I like listened to that a couple of times, and then I felt really awful, so I had to go lay down. So that's why I did not finish it in time. But like it's really enough. It's between Ghosts or Interlude for me. I really liked the interlude track. Like just like instrument, yeah, like but like I just like that, like the ambient nature of it. I just thought it was like, because for me, I feel like it's always hard to do an interlude or even like skits or like any kind of like non-traditional track like in an EP or album type of thing. But it really kind of just made sense as like a tone establishing setting kind of thing. And like I was like, oh, I like the way this tickles my brain. I don't know, which I felt weird saying that because it sounds kind of rude to be like, oh yeah, on this EP where all the other songs have like, you know, like singing and like verses and a lot more instrumentation, be like, oh yeah, no, the interlude was my favorite part. But it was like, I think that also is just like goes back to show like for me, like the production and like the like, you know, the craftsmanship of it, I think are its like strongest bits. And I feel like the interlude is a really good example of that.
I remember that, like, when I think Nestani was we often like split up and then like rejoined like a lot in our like sessions or whatever. Because this is the other thing is that like we did this completely online. We live in completely different parts of the country, so like it really created this. That was, I think, the thing that really hooked us, like made it difficult at the beginning as well. Is that it's like, how do we work collaboratively on something like this when we're online? And eventually we got into a groove of it. And
just to piggyback off that real quick, the specific reason why it makes it difficult is because when audio DAWs, they typically have you select your like audio interface, right? And so for me specifically, since like I was recording like a lot with like my actual piano, my actual like bass guitar and stuff, in order to hear my monitor, I would need to switch the thing, which means that Cole couldn't hear it on Discord because that's just how it works. Because it just controls everything.
Yep.
And so that's a big reason why we split up, but also just to be more effective.
And like I remember when I was making Interlude, like when I think you were basically just like Nestani, you were like, don't change anything. And that's like that was like I made it and then we didn't touch it at all. Like that was it. Like I don't think we even did anything to it. So
that was straight from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
It's because I heard it and I was like, that's perfect.
Get it.
We're done.
Yeah.
Move on. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
There you
over.
go.
Yeah. But what was your question, Cosmic? For
Now
me?
that we cut you off 55 times.
No, you're good. So there's lyrics in what is it, Mirage, where you say getting coffee, our first date, and then it was like something feeling in my chest.
feeling
Now-
my chest?
Yeah, so
Mine
I actually thought
did raise my
I think
eyebrows a little bit.
number
but-
one, I think the lack of rhyme there is a disservice to what you kind of had, the flow that you had going there. But also, you could have put, instead of getting coffee, the same number of syllables as Popeye's chicken. So you could have said Popeye's chicken, our
we
first
didn't
date.
think that deep. We didn't think that deep.
Isn't
Gotcha,
the idea
that's it.
behind the track where it's like this like thing he's
Getting
singing about is a
Popeye's our
mirage,
first
like
date.
it's a dream and not really
So
like a
it
real
would
thing.
make sense then, because he didn't go on the Popeye's chicken date.
Well, the Popeyes thing happened. That's not a mirage.
No,
That was
it
a real
didn't
life
happen.
fumble. That
He
was
didn't
a.
go.
But he didn't go, so like it is a mirage. But also, you know, we have
Yeah.
to make the song palatable for the regular listener, and most people,
Yeah.
you know, have gotten coffee.
But I
with other
can,
people, you know what
I
mean?
can definitely just hear Popeye's chicken, our first date.
I feel like we're gonna have a Zack
That
Snyder
breaded
cut for this EP,
feeling
but it's
in
the
my
DECosmic
chest.
cut, and it replaces the coffee date with the Popeyes chicken.
The rest of the EP is the same.
It's just the
Well,
one
I also
song.
said that. I also said that.
Oh, and
breaded
bring back the
feeling in my
Nestani like
chest.
rap verse and Lost, or not the rap, but just like the Nestani verse and Lost,
Yeah.
like that on the director's cut.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if
I
it
would,
makes it
I would
worse.
need to, I would need to actually like dig into more of the lyrics to have anything to say about those. But I did. That was like a point that it stood out to me, where I really thought that you were going to rhyme something with date, and then you said chest, and I was like,
I think I was like the big rhymer when writing the lyrics.
that's fair.
Because I remember that sort of like that was at the point though. All right, let me just say something. Writing lyrics with Nestani is a challenge for me, bro. Like
You are from very different
I would
schools of
write-
lyric writing. So
I would write,
I'd
like,
imagine so.
5 different things, and Nestani would be like, "This ain't it," and I'd be like, what else could I even do? But it also did challenge me to like keep thinking about it more and come up with like, you know, other details and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I honestly don't even
Yeah.
remember
It
really the
is-
thought process behind like that line in particular, other than just like the emotion it's trying to invoke.
I will say that it's very hard to write lyrics just like from jump, right? But also when so many things now are like written so on the nose that they almost sound like everything is written by Weird Al Yankovic, and you just don't want to write that way. Because like very clearly you didn't want to write like too on the nose with what you were trying to evoke something like a feeling, right? You know, and you weren't like writing lyrics that were like, I used to do cocaine to get over the hangovers or whatever, right? It's nothing that on the nose.
Do cocaine.
Yeah,
Replace
yeah.
replace coffee date with cocaine crack. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Crack cocaine.
you know.
Coffee,
Crack cocaine.
You know, there's some here.
Our first date.
I think a big thing with Mirage though is that like it was definitely like the last one that we wrote, and also it was the last one we wrote lyrics for too. It was
Yeah.
kind of definitely like the cram job, which is why I mean, in my opinion, it's my least favorite on the album.
That's fair.
Just me personally.
I would
That's pretty
probably
fair.
agree.
I feel like you're gonna have a different perspective on what you like on the album versus what we like, because from the sense I've gotten to you, it was about like how much did I enjoy putting this together, and like the
Yeah.
process of making the art.
I view through the lens of the song of what I would want
okay.
to listen to. I have a very
that's
objective look at the album versus
At
like
your own music.
what
Okay.
was most fun. Like, I think the most
Yeah.
fun song was probably
well, fun
it's probably
in what
Midnight
sense
Sun.
for the word.
I like.
I feel like
Yeah.
Lost was also. I feel like every
Lost and
time
Midnight
that
Sun.
that
Yeah.
that breakdown happened, you were like, "Yeah!"
Dude,
You're
every
always
single
just,
time we
like,
got to the
bopping
Sunsoul
in
and
your-
Midnight Sun, I would turn
Bow.
up the volume and just go crazy. And that's when you know you have something good, when you're always turning up the volume.
I did like that part of the song.
Yeah, no, I have a pretty
be
objective approach when it comes to that, because it's like I kind of take away anything. Like I just like, what is the best songs? And to me, I think it's pretty cool. Like taking out the interlude because I don't really rank that in my head, but like mine, it would be Midnight Sun or Lost 1, 2. I would probably go Midnight Sun, then Lost, then Ghost, then Mirage. And I think that's when I'm like super confident about that. I think the only ones I could flip are Midnight Sun and Lost because I don't know. Because I actually, so when I was mixing this album, I showed it to my buddy Johnny, who's like an actual super audio engineer. I'm like a little bit of an audio engineer, but I'm not as good as him.
He's
so
like
I would show mixes to him and stuff, and he would give me some tips or whatever. And his favorite was Lost by far. Like he was just like, oh, this is Pog. He was like, I wish it was longer. And I was just like, well, that's when you know you have something good. When they want to keep listening to it.
That's kind of my thing. Like, it's just like, I feel like we all have our individual like favorite tracks, but I think we can kind of like all agree that like Lost is like top 2 on the album. If you're not counting interlude. I'm weird and I really like the interlude, but like,
I mean, I think the interlude's sick. I just like, in terms of like full songs, I'm not like,
yeah.
It was funny. It was almost like put in a different spot when I was like mixing the album. So it's kind of just like segregated to me.
Yeah.
Like
it's just like to me, like
ago.
it's like weirdly enough, it was like on the first listen, like to me, like interlude and like beyond is where I was like, okay, now we're really kind of moving. Like moving. I don't know, I something about Ghosts like just really hit with me, especially like after that like. I don't know what was that audio clip that you had play before you goes into the drop with the scream vocals.
That was actually from he originated on Vine, but his name is Demetrius Harmon or Herman. I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah,
Demetrius.
Is that the guy who's like meow now 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 yeah? Like, is it that guy?
I don't know.
Or is that a different guy? I don't remember.
His name is Demetrius Herman. Yeah, Harmon. Sorry, Demetrius Harmon. So he was on Vine for a while, and then it was funny because this is back when I followed him, and like all the YouTubers transitioned like pre-COVID to like YouTube like after Vine died, and I followed him. And like I think he's most known for his like hoodie company or whatever. There's a lot of memes on his hoodie company, and people like he runs a scam hoodie company. I don't really know anything. I don't really keep up with him anymore. But at the time, I was keeping up with him, and he did this speech at some random college with some fucking, I mean, you could kind of hear it in the audio, but some fuck ass audio. It's horrific. It's like basically recorded on a phone in an auditorium. You can hear everything. Someone goes, you hear that. Like, like it's crazy.
Damn.
You hear everything. But it's like a 53-minute like thing. I actually have it saved. It's called The World Is Yours, and I listened to this like when I was way younger, and I like super identified it as a black person, because he just kind of touched on a lot of things that I align with personally, and I think like it was kind of funny because I saved this a long time ago, like 6-7 years ago when it was like uploaded, and I kind of didn't think about it, but then like. You know, me and Cole were like thinking about like trying to find like samples and clips because we just thought it would be cool to have some sort of sample or clip on it. And so we were just kind of thinking of things, and I was just kind of thinking about things, and I was just scrolling through like my YouTube my history, like because I save things for like watch later, and I don't really use my watch later. And I use it as I want to
it's
save
like a
this,
bookmarks tab.
Yeah, it's like I'm saving this forever kind of deal, not like a playlist or anything. And I remember seeing that, and I rewatched it, and then like a lot of the stuff that he touched on in that video were things that like I talk about now, which like kind of was like whoa, like it was almost like this is like I was unaware of it at the time when I first watched it, but it kind of like helped me like foundationally build like a lot of the pillars that I have now. And it's called The World Is Yours, I believe. Yeah, it's called The World Is Yours. It's a lecture by Demetrius Harmon, but like he uploaded it like 6 years ago. It has like 40K views. Like it's not like a crazy like popular video or anything. But just like because he basically just talked about like his whole life, and like, you know, I just basically identified with that a lot, and I kind of just cut up a couple of the samples to just kind of, you know, spin it into the lyrics that we had at the time. Or no, opposite. We built the song around that. That whole idea. Yeah.
I'm always a fan of samples like that in songs, so that was cool to hear that like come in during kind of like the last stretch of the album. So
there was another example of that
Lost.
somewhere in
at
the
the beginning of
album,
Lost.
too. It was Lost. It was at the beginning of Lost. That's right.
Can't you see
Where it was like, oh, I really like that.
Fear.
Yep. That was Willem Defriend.
Yeah, that one was cool. It was from a movie. I don't even know what movie it was.
Yeah, it was Passion
William
of the
Dafoe.
Christ.
Yeah.
Which I've never actually seen the
notoriously
movie.
loves Christian movies.
I do love some Jesus, you know. I'm a big Christian for sure.
Big Jesu Christu guy.
Yeah, when you're making some like Protestant Christian worship music albums, like that'll
He's
that's
the
a bag.
Lord, he's the God of second chances.
Jesus Christ is my nigga.
You know that song?
You know that video?
I don't think I can sing that. I know that video. I don't think I can sing that.
Is amazing, God.
That would have to be a collaborative effort for you to sing that song.
True, yeah. I'll just have to hop on.
Not
you know what I mean? I'll just hop on for the
You'll
one
just say
word.
that.
It'll
You'll
be
just
cool
say
rest
the
of it.
one word
Yeah.
the entire time. Yeah. People are like, Jesus Christ is my. And then
I
the
do have
song
to
just
say
comes in
that-
for one word.
With this album, I think the weirdest hurdle for me was the fact that the music that I generally listen to is not this genre.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know what my thoughts were on scream vocals because I've never really listened to music with like scream vocals or anything like that. And I mean, the heaviest I ever really get is just like stuff from like before I was born, because I'm Unk.
Shout out to
And
Black
so
Sabbath.
like
You were not Unk. You were
You're
like,
literally not Unk,
even though I'm
bro.
the youngest.
You're the youngest one here
not
by far, actually.
Sorry, I was just trying
You
to
were-
say
you were
You're
Gen
the
Z
only one on this
lingo.
podcast that can get drafted.
yeah, you were a nephew.
Is
You
that
were
true?
like,
Wait, how long does the draft go?
18
Bro
to
is
25.
Neff, all right.
oh shit, I'm free.
I know.
Holy
That's
shit,
why.
I didn't know
That's
that.
why I said it. He's the
I
only
mean, I
one
couldn't
that can
get
get
I
drafted.
couldn't get
So the
drafted. I couldn't get anyway because of the diabetes.
I'm
but it's neither here.
I'm 10 years free.
Yeah, he's
That's crazy.
So
super
you can
free.
either be on your parents'
You're
insurance
35?
but get drafted,
Yeah.
or have your own insurance and not.
What,
That's how it
Jaxler?
goes.
You're 10 years. Oh my god. I thought you were like 32. You like surprise me every day. You know what?
I'll
Leave
take
at
it,
that.
man. I'll
Only
take
losing
it.
time in here. Anyway, but yeah. So
take
I feel like
32.
that was sort of like a challenge for me in this whole project in particular. Was I was sort of tackling a genre that I wasn't very familiar with, but I do feel like I listen to more of like that genre now. Like I don't even know. I don't think Nestani told me about it. I think I saw it on Instagram, but that one band that's white that you actually didn't like, the most recent album. What
You are
they
not
called?
narrowing this down at
Motionless,
all, dude.
Motionless in White?
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
fucking.
Because you were like, that's so bad. But
It is so
I only
bad.
listened to one song, and I was like, this is kind of cool.
It's fine.
But
yeah, you can like what you
but,
like.
you know.
I just didn't like that album. It's just a shame. They've fallen so far.
but yeah,
from the glory
so-
of God. Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, like it was kind of self-imposed by me, because that was one thing where I was just like, hey, if we're doing this, like, I am highly interested in putting screams at some point in the album.
Yeah.
But I also, like, you know, to kind of piggyback off him, I knew that he wasn't very comfortable with that and he didn't listen to it, which is why I tried to like narrow it very heavily to like where it was placed, so that like, because I have this belief, because this is kind of like because we talked about it, like a lot of our music stuff, but like I have this belief that like everyone can like scream vocals, you just have to package them in the proper way. And
well, it's context is the other. It's exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. Right?
well, context, but also just like the way they're delivered, like, and how they're being delivered. I just think there is a world where everyone can hear a scream vocal and be like, oh, cool, because it's invoking a very specific emotion, right? And it's basically heightening that emotion. And like,
it's a timbre thing too, because that was the thing I noticed about your scream vocals compared to others I've heard. Is they like yours are a unique timbre compared to other ones I've heard. So like the way that you leveraged it, like, because like you said, I'm not necessarily someone who messes with scream vocals all that much, but like the way you used it, I was like, oh, this is a logical conclusion, if that makes sense. Where it's just like, oh yeah, it makes sense that this is here to raise the tension at this point, right? Like,
yeah. But it's just kind of this thing is that like I'm not where I want to be yet with my harsh vocals, like by any stretch of the imagination. Like this is not what I actually have in mind for what I hear in my head. And I'm not there yet. It'll probably be like another year or two. I'll see you guys in there. But like, I think for what I was able to do, I feel like I packaged that well, if that makes sense. Because I think for like my grand thesis of like anyone can hear a scream vocal and like it, I don't think that's what this album is. I think these are a little too much. Because I can only do this one type of scream right now. Well, I guess not right now, but like at the time when I recorded it.
At the time of recording.
I could do more now, but like when I was recording it, like that was basically all I could comfortably do without like fucking obviously like nuking my voice. But I mean, you can always make sounds with your voice, but like I don't do that because I like, I like my voice to work properly, but like, so yeah. And so, that's why like it was like a little bit, but like that's why like, you know, because we've both expressed interest in doing this again, but like a longer term thing where it's like we actually spend like a year or two like working on something, and then I think that is when we could probably like dial in like where we really want this like harsh vocal to either be layered in the back or like something. But this one is definitely very much like it is out front, it's in your face, but just in a contained space, so that like even if you don't fuck with it, like it's not gonna hopefully inhibit too much of your enjoyment of the album.
Ooh, and that was the thing I got with the EP generally too. Is it felt very like, I don't want to say like experimental in the way they talk about like experimental music, but it really kind of felt like you were trying to like messing with the tools that you have in terms of like your vocals, your range, your instrumentation, and being like, how can we put these together in interesting ways, kinds of thing. And like I feel like a lot of it like is one of those things where it's like either it worked really well, like you said when you know that like synth solo and Lost, or is it no, it's Midnight Sun. I can't.
I mean, there's a synth solo in Lost too that is also really good.
Yeah,
but the one that I always headbanged my headphones off and made Cole laugh every single time, that was Midnight Sun.
Yeah, where it's just like, but yeah, it's just like you have moments like that work really good, but then like you also like, you know, it's a learning process, and then you have these like lessons that my phone decided to tell me that I'm done. So I have a cold, and lore dump about type 1 diabetes. When you are sick,
I feel like you were in the middle of something, when you were pivoted. That was crazy.
Yeah. Call me literally anyone else on this podcast the way I pivot. But like when you're sick, your blood sugar goes higher. That's the long and short of it.
Oh, okay.
It's like pretty substantially. So that's why my phone went off there. I completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, because you were in the middle of a point and a sentence, and it's over.
Well, I was going to say,
I'm not firing on all cylinders right now. My throat is sunburnt, for lack of a better term.
You definitely can feel like the album is definitely a learning process, and I think it's cool to see that sort of thing. Like, you know, I've talked before about how it's a little lame that now with a lot of artists we see like songs get drip fed out, and so it's not really like you get more of just, you don't really get to see that snapshot of how maybe they learn throughout the process of that recording. It just is like everything's all chopped together, and then it's like, oh well, all these songs now that we released over like the course of a year are now the album. So I thought it was cool that to just sort of see that snapshot of where y'all were at for, you know, a couple of weeks to a month.
Well, and the other thing too is I have this problem sometimes with albums where they have like a real like a couple like big singles that they tease before like the full thing drops, and like those are good as singles, but then in the context of the album it's just like a little weird. You know what I mean? Where it's like this thing was constructed to be a single to sell the record, rather than like maybe, and sometimes it really does make a lot more sense in the full context of the thing, or the song's just so damn good that you don't give a fuck. Like, but like, you know what I'm saying? Where like, and like I kind of appreciated that, where it was just like all at once, so everything existed within the context of itself, rather than, oh, here's a teaser track, and now this teaser track exists both in the context of itself as a teaser, out in the open on its own, and like in the rest of the EP as well, type of thing. Like, like I'm just thinking like imagine like teasing Midnight Sun, for example, and like putting that out like even like a day or two early than the rest of the EP, and then like how that might change like because like part of the annoying thing too with music and a lot of art is like the context in which you engage with it or the circumstances thereof change the way that you perceive it. So I mean personally I'm also just like sick of that whole cycle to begin with. So I'm just like, we get the whole thing at once.
I hate it.
Dude, we get the whole thing at once?
Personally.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But or like just also sometimes artists will just like shadow drop their whole album and it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
and then it's
I
like...
mean, to be fair, we kind of shadow dropped the entire...
Exactly. And I was like,
Kind of.
Kind of. Not to us. Not to us.
Well, not to you.
We were nowhere.
2 days.
To everyone else, though, it was like out of nowhere, you know? But I think like a couple things... I think like in terms of like dropping it all at once, I think that dropping this, even if we were to like do hyper optimization, it just wouldn't fucking make sense, right? Because all the songs are so drastically different from one another.
Yeah.
That it's just like...
It's true.
It's like... Because... You know, they do kind of work, but they also kind of don't work. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and I think dropping it all at once,
they're pretty different. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think dropping it all at once kind of like nullifies that because you're like, oh, this is just the way it is. Rather than like, if you listen to Midnight Sun, like, for example, what Cosmic was saying near the beginning of the episode, he had this expectation for the rest of the album based off just the first track, right? Imagine if I just dropped that and you had to sit on it for 2 days and then, you know, or like a week or a month, and then you listen to Lost, you're like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like work. And so I think for this, I think it was obviously like that. And then also just other part is that like, this is meant to be like a 30-day challenge project. Like at the end of the day, that's what this was, is that it was just a challenge project. And then we just decided to put it out just because, well, we had it.
Yeah, so let's do
we might as well like, and also we thought like it was good. You know what I mean? I think that was the main part, is because like me personally, I can't speak to Cole, but like me personally going into it, I didn't plan on releasing anything. I just planned on writing it, you know, doing the exercise, going through it, and piecing out and being like, cool, that was fun. Because for me, I mean, if it's not obvious, what I want to do is be like in an actual like hardcore like metal band. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to be doing the actual thing. But this is more of just like let me, you know, I kind of went into this as, this is practice. I'm practicing, you know, I'm practicing vocals, I'm practicing mixing, I'm practicing writing with another person, I'm practicing, you know, that team building. Obviously, like, it's a way easier stage because me and Cole are like, we work so fucking well together. I think like we just like complement each other, and especially it was kind of funny, side tangent, we kind of complimented each other crazily well on this, because like, I guess to like kind of zoom out of like who did what on the album, it was pretty much like I did the rhythm and Cole did like the melody and stuff, right? And so like, because I wasn't very good at like just getting a melody out of thin air. Like if you hear anything on the album that's kind of like kind of like random sounds or whatever, kind of like just in the background, that's all Cole. Like he's good at like finding just random shit to put in. He did a lot of the synth work. He did most of the melodies, if not all of them. And I think like in terms of like just the instrumentation, we just complement each other, because he wasn't really much of a drum or a bass person, and I just like filled that role, because I did all the drums on the entire album. And we kind of just like complement each other accidentally super well with that. Like we weren't like, there was no blind spot between both of us, besides, well, I guess like lyrics,
you two also just worked well together.
Is that we just
interpersonally?
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what I was
getting at,
because of all the work
you do behind the scenes for this.
Well,
podcast,
we have a podcast, but I mean, I think just in general, every time that we have done anything together, we just, our minds just work similar. And so for me, like, I kind of went into this as practice, but then like halfway through, or I guess 3/4, because halfway through we didn't have shit. 3/4 of the way through, I was like, oh wait, this is actually fucking good. Like, I'm kind of down to like actually like release this, you know. Yeah. And like go through the whole thing.
That's actually crazy, because I thought from the get-go we were going to release something, and I'm not sure how I would have felt if we put all the time into this and then we didn't release it. Because I would have just been like, really?
Well,
that's it. Like
for me, I just didn't know how you felt about it. So like going into it, I was just like, I have no expectations of putting this out. Because like, what if we spent 30 days and it all fucking sucks? Like, would you still want to put it out? Like, I don't know.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, but
you could always make content out of it. Is the thing. It's like, we made an EP in 30 days. Parentheses. It sucks. Like,
I mean, I suppose.
I guess so.
But it's like you learn. Like that's the thing. It's learning how to learn. You know. I mean, that's what speedrunning is, and music's a lot of the same way. Like the people who are the best at music are like, you look at the way that they just go about practicing. Like if we're talking just like about someone who's really good at one instrument. Like the way they go about like their practice and the way that they maintain and think about it.
We're talking about
Practice.
You know, so it's like
I think
it's interesting.
I think too that like it wasn't like a set in stone. Like I wasn't going to release it. I just didn't plan on doing that. You know, I just kind of went in with kind of no expectations, and then like whatever you kind of wanted to do is what I was down to do. Like if you want to release,
you can't release anything you don't make either. That's the other thing. So it's like, why have an expectation when your expectation should just be to finish something?
Well,
I guess releasing it was sort of the finish line for the project, I guess, in my head. But I guess the thing is that anything that I've created, like, I mean, it's like with like making YouTube videos, I'm always during a video, I am that graph where we're so peak and it's so over just all the time.
We're so back, like, it's so over.
Even if I end it at it's so over, then it's like I still release it because I feel like the time sink put into it is reason enough to just let it out into the world, I guess. And I mean, is there really any consequence for letting it out into the world anyway? Because like if somebody doesn't like it, then they just won't listen to it. But if somebody does like it, then there you go. So
yeah, I guess then my question is like, maybe what's next? Like we talked about it a little bit of like maybe wanting to do this again, but it's like, you know, it's out now, so it's like, what are your takeaways, or what are you thinking next? It could be music. It could be something, literally anything else. But
with By the Gram,
such a good
still
name.
Can't believe we named it that.
So good. So good. I wanted it so bad to be By the Gram. Everyone, I'm so glad you let me do it.
Like, I mean, personally, I don't see myself doing anything with By the Gram anytime soon, but I'm open to do something in the future. Yeah. I think even though I enjoy doing this project, I think I usually like to do music more as like, it's almost like a meditation where it's like, I'm not like, if we do it over the long term, I'll probably like it even more because then there's no pressure to finalize something right away or like just get it out there or whatever. Because like, you know, even after this project, I've just enjoyed going into the DAW that we have and just like playing around with the synths and stuff just for fun. Like I find it very like meditative and fun. So, so with that aspect, I'm not planning on doing something like this album ever again, but I wouldn't be opposed to it, to releasing a new album. But right now, this entire year could be summarized as me learning to not put too much on one plate. And so like the video I'm working on right now, which I've been working on since like June, this album, and then just like a whole bunch of other stuff going on in my life and things like that. It was a lot. So
Cosmic, did you just look at a wristwatch that you weren't wearing?
Yes. Yeah.
Damn. Are you telling him to wrap it the fuck up when he like?
No. I was saying like, wow,
it's
December. He's been working on it since June.
I thought you were telling him to shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah,
that's hilarious. I don't think he was doing that. I think,
yeah.
Sorry, you had something else? Oh, okay.
No, that was all.
I think for me, I would definitely be interested in doing more stuff with Cole. But again, I would do this over the pretense of like, we're doing this in like probably like a year or two. Yeah. And then from that point, we have infinite time to write it, right? Because I think the biggest downside to this was just the stress of we only have 30 days, right? And so that's when tensions rise. We had our fights, you know what I mean? And like, it just creates a lot of unnecessary stress of what should normally be a thing that is just a fun thing to do, or just like a cathartic thing to do. And I feel like when you're putting all this like weight and pressure on it, it kind of like takes away from that. And even extrapolating that more, I was like, because we like did this as a challenge, I didn't really want to spend forever like mixing the album and mastering it, like personally speaking, just because like it would kind of defeat the purpose if like we write a thing and then it's like the fucking greatest production of all time, you know what I mean? Which it isn't, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and I think for that aspect, I also felt pressure afterwards because I was just like mixing every single day, just like trying to get this shit down, just in a state that is good enough to release. Like I wasn't even like, personally speaking, I'm not happy with any single mix. Okay, let's, there are 500 things I want to do better, differently, more, whatever, you know what I mean? But that doesn't really matter because, it's always this thing where like, when you're doing something creative, it's like, just get it 80% of the way there, like 90% of the way there. Like no one's going to notice the extra 10%, really. And if they do notice that, you're a stuck up bitch. Why are you listening to a fucking self-produced album? Like we're not Sabrina Carpenter. You don't have that money. You know what I mean? So like, I don't really care about that anyway. But like, I think for me, like I felt like, I think like Cole probably felt more of the pressure while we were writing, and I felt the pressure while we were writing too, but I was a bit more relaxed about it because I didn't expect anything for us to, I didn't expect anything to be good. I just didn't have that like, expectation at all, because I was just like, this is, I kind of viewed this as practice in my head, you know what I mean? And then obviously, I mean, that doesn't mean like, just because I view something as practice doesn't mean I'm not giving it 110%. You know what I mean? Like, because the way I practice is 110%. So I was doing everything I can, but like, you're just wrapping it up so Cosmic doesn't give me the watch.
No, you're good. You're good. So what I'm seeing is no. Go ahead.
I was going to complete my sentence, but yeah, I think
that's all.
Like mixing and mastering an album in 2 months is just not enough time, especially for a person that is a novice and not very good. I obviously have my experience with audio. I've done audio for years, but like not to this like degree. I've never mixed and mastered a whole album, so there's a lot of learning curve to this. And so for me, I'm definitely like, if we do this again, I'm definitely way more interested in that, because I think it'll be way, way, way more fun, because then I think we will actually allow ourselves to breathe and allow ourselves to actually be creative and not just like, this is the first good thing we thought of, run. You know what I mean? Because that was kind of like what this whole thing was, is that like I would noodle around on the bass, Cole would noodle around on senses. As soon as something good popped up, we said chase, 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 chase. We didn't even think about changing the core, right? It was just like, oh, we finally got something good enough. Go. And then we just and then like built out around it. And I think that like having proper time will just make it a lot more fun. And then also, personally speaking, make it so that my vocals will be better. Because that's, selfishly, that's what I care about the most, is just, I just want to get better and better and better and better and better. And so obviously I'm excited for, if we do it again, I will be better by the time we do it again. You know what I mean? And I'll have more things that I can throw in, that I think will be cool or not. But yeah, I would definitely be and also just me and Cole work very well together. I think like, even with all the stresses and stuff, I think at least for me, I had a lot of fun working on it. But, and I think it's also different because like, I would argue that I have a very clear goal in my mind where like I definitely want to do music like long term if possible. You know what I mean? And it's like actually kind of a goal of mine. And I would say like for Cole, it's more of a side fun project.
Interest.
And so for me, obviously I would be down, but that's only if Cole has time or wants to do it or whatever. And also hopefully we can have real drums, not MIDI drums, because I wanted to kill myself doing MIDI drums.
I can only imagine. It's like, so I guess now my question is like, does that mean now that we have, two people who worked on an EP together on the podcast, do the other two people on the podcast now have to work on an EP together?
Or do the four of us start a boy band?
Crazy.
Well, I was going to say, if you need somebody to do guitar on anything, just let me know and I'll think about busting it back out. I'd have to get some new strings or whatever, but I will lend
hit you up
something.
On that. Because my buddy Johnny, who
I'll have to start.
I sent mixes to, he plays drums, and I was just like, "Hey, man," he just offered. He was like, "Hey, if you want me to play drums on your next thing, just set me up." And I was like, "Ooh, I will."
Yeah.
You have made a mistake in bringing this offer up to me.
It is pretty
shit. Maybe
cool
I got to write a verse, But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, it is very interesting seeing because it's been 20 years since I saw myself go through the process of learning how to write a song, because I was in bands during high school, and I remember the hardest part really was just learning how long something should go on and how long it feels like it should go on, right? So I commend you both for writing songs that did not feel like they outstayed their welcome.
That's a really good point.
I was I would say to my brother who plays drums, I'd be like, well, I want to do this because I don't really know fucking bars and shit, even though I even though I know music theory and all that. I'd be like, well, I just kind of want to do this riff 4 times and then we'll move on, and he'd be like, well, that's 16 bars. And I'm like, all right, well, so let's just play it and see how it feels. And there'd be times where we were like, yeah, this feels like a long time to be playing this riff. So it's, and in terms of lyrics and everything, figuring out when to actually change it, when to actually change over to the chorus and all that was tough. It was a process, right? And I don't know how I would tackle that now, because after a while I stopped being in bands and I was just kind of doing stuff with a loop station in my guitar. I had a drum machine that I would do a loop station and everything with. And that was just kind of the way that I did it. So I don't really know how I would tackle something like that at this juncture. So
my solution
is cool
is just
to peer back into
listen to music super intently and take notes for 3 days straight for about 4 hours each day. That's what I did.
There you go.
Yeah. Have you also tried turning it off and turning it back on again? I think that also might help.
Yeah, that's so true, honestly. But it was cool to see people kind of learn that process again, because I've been out of it for so long.
Yeah. I guess with regards to the 30-day challenge thing or whatever, to anyone who might be listening, do you recommend if anyone else is interested in making their own music, the structure that you set yourselves up for, fully regret it or try something different as a means of restricting yourself?
I feel to get started in music, this was a good opportunity, because I think every time you take the first step in your next 1,000 steps, if you purposefully give yourself handrails to work with, then that'll help you move forward a lot more. Because I could envision somebody doing an album how we want to make our whatever next album, where it's we take our time and it can be long or whatever, but a lot of delays can happen and plans can change, and it could become one of those things where it's hey, we should do this, and then they don't do it. So plus, it's unless you're somehow a one-hit wonder right off the bat, the first thing you're gonna make in music or anything is probably not gonna be the best thing you're gonna make anyway. So if you're gonna you might as well give yourself restrictions or a time limit or something like that, just to try something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or or just to have the excuse to try it out, because I think. Not always to bring it back to speedrunning, but that is something I sort of like about the idea of doing something like a 12-hour challenge speedrun, is the fact that you don't have to think about I need to grind it so elaborately. It's no, just sit down and do it for this amount of time and just truck forward and don't stop. It's an excuse to not stop in the middle and stop at the end. Don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. That same kind of mantra.
Yeah.
But whether or not you want to, because I mean, we did it in 30 days, but it wasn't 30 consecutive days. So like, obviously you can be flexible in how you would like to set it up to best match like your lifestyle or things like that. But I think anything that puts a fire under your ass, like if you really want to do something, you'll put the fire under your ass and you'll go and do it, kind of thing. So if that answers the question well.
I think so.
Yeah. I think for me, I would recommend it if you don't care about the outcome, or if you're like, yeah, I would just say that if you're not super, super invested in the outcome, like for example, like if you just started like a band with your buddies, like I think it would be, like for that, it's just like, you know, if you start a band and you're like, I want this band to go far, I think it could be useful to do a 30-day challenge, but also like, I don't know how much workable stuff you would get out of that, if that makes sense. But I think overall there's no real bad thing to do, because it's like you could do it and not release it, right? If you were in that type of environment too. So you could just do it as an exercise.
Yeah, just think about the amount of artists that have songs that they've written, recorded, made that are just in the vault.
Yeah.
Like Kendrick's lost hard drives of like hundreds of songs, which is devastating to think about, but sorry.
But yeah, I would say overall though, like I think I would recommend it, because I think I just pretty much I'm yes-anding Cole at this point, but like I think any challenge is good, and I think, you know, we're gonna go back to my favorite statement of all time, where it's just move the needle, right? And like you know, for me, making music, singing, all of this stuff has been like my like number one insecurity like my entire life, for like ever, and I'm just now like kind of breaking past that barrier recently.
Yeah.
And by recently I mean like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, like recently. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah, because you would talk about like you were learning to sing or like working on your scream vocals, but it wasn't until recently that you were like even comfortable with the three of us sharing your progress.
Well, the thing is I couldn't even do scream vocals until like 4 or 5 months ago. I have not been doing them for very long at all. But even extrapolating that, like I wasn't comfortable with my regular. It's been 2 years of vocal lessons before I am like, and I'm still not happy with my cleans, but like, you know what I mean, just to get to that point. Like, and I think, you know, it's just good so that it's like you just need to do anything, right? Like if you want to start doing this stuff, like you just need to start doing it, right? And I think a 30-day challenge or whatever is just the extrapolation of just moving the needle, right? Like if you want to start doing the game, just start fucking doing it. If you want to start
just play
doing anything at all, just start doing the thing, even if it's for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You don't have to go crazy and do a 30-day challenge. You know what I mean? Like if you want to start working out, just go on a fucking walk. You don't need to do anything crazy. You know what I mean?
That's what I've been doing.
You can build up to anything, but it just kind of depends, because like, and because I also think that like a 30-day challenge works better when there's someone else there keeping you accountable, right? I think like if you're ISO, it doesn't work as well, because then, you know, you're accountable for only yourself. You know what I mean?
That was always the thing for me, because like this whole like 30-day challenge thing is very reminiscent to me of something in game dev called game jams, where you just have like a weekend or something like that just to make a game and like put it out there for people to try. And like I could never force myself to do them, for one, because I cared too much about the outcome, but also like I would do them solo, or I would think about doing them solo, and then I was like, I'm scared because I'm going in it alone. Then I never did anything. So, but then again, I would also just have fun just noodling around in game dev software, just like making random little things that I thought were interesting, and sometimes they led somewhere, and sometimes they didn't. But like, you know, that having another person there is like actually a cheat code, low key. Like, I mean, even just for like regular work, like just there would be. And when I was in my internship, sometimes I would just hop on a Discord call with some friends while I was like doing my work. You know, because I can go into the computer lab. But we're all just kind of yes-anding each other, aren't we?
True.
This is really productive.
So I have a final question, unless you all have final questions. But my final question for you two is, it's really just for Cosmic. What's your least favorite song on the album? I need to know.
Jaxler offered it.
Yeah, freely.
Let me see
Sorry.
here. I mean, I'll probably just go with the interlude.
Oh, the interlude? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
now what's your least favorite of the 4 real songs? Because I put that in a separate box.
Yeah,
so
I
it
was
doesn't
gonna
count.
say, how do Cosmic and I have like exact opposite opinions on this
opinions.
album besides
Both
Lost?
still like it.
That's so stupid.
One of us is correct and the other one is Jaxler. So that's how.
Wow.
What's your least favorite out of the 4
I
real
think
ones?
the least favorite out of the 4 real ones. Let me take a look here.
If I had to
Pause,
answer
yeah.
on Cosmic's behalf, I would guess Mirage for you, but I don't know.
He was roasting Cole for not picking Popeyes as the lyrics, so...
That's
That
true.
is
Yeah.
true.
No, I think I might actually go with Lost, to be honest.
Wow. Okay.
With Lost, okay.
Yeah.
Reason or just
Do none
vibe
of us
space?
just know what we're fucking talk about? Like,
Well, it's
are
music.
we all
Everyone
just
can
do-
like what they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. I just don't think I liked the cadence or the delivery on the verses. I think that the instrumentation
Fair.
is good. I think that what you actually say in those verses is cool. Like, have I crawled in my own grave, etc. I just don't think I like the cadence.
Worm. That's
think,
right.
like,
I
it's
forgot about
I think
that.
the biggest.
Cole
and, like,
found me
that's the
tooth and
thing.
nail to put worm on the album. I just have a tick
Yeah.
when it comes to
Worm.
the word worm.
It's one of those things too, where it's like if you come back and like do that, like those vocals again, but like with confidence from having practiced more and doing more, like, you know, it's one of those things where it's
More
just,
time,
like,
et cetera, yeah.
more time, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts? Anything? Because we did talk about this whole time, so that's kind of funny.
That's actually
I
crazy.
want to say as well. I want to hear you person listening / watching this episode. Let us know what your favorite song on the EP was.
True.
And
Hashtag
least
ad.
favorite.
And
don't
tell
be
them why
shy.
it was the interlude. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it'll also be linked down in the description as well. Go check it out if this is your first. For some reason, if this is your first time hearing about it, we talked about it last episode. But like, you know, if you're a real one, you would have listened to it by now. But if not, this
True.
is your-
Fake fans.
True.
Honestly, why the fuck have you
True.
been listening to us for the
What are you
past hour?
doing?
You should have listened to the out.
Yeah, you should have listened to it
the-
by now. You know what I mean? To know what we're talking about.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow
You could have
along,
listened to
kids.
it like 6 times, like front to back during the course of this episode.
So true.
Yeah, give us those Spotify plays.
Please.
Sweet. So does anyone have anything to shout out, say before we wrap for the week? For this week.
I don't feel very good.
Yeah, they're both.
I was gonna
sick,
say,
guys. They're
hopefully
getting
I'll be,
cooked up.
hopefully
Yeah,
I'll
both.
be not bodied and I'll be streaming more this week
Yeah.
or this weekend instead of being bodied.
We
Because I've
redid my
been-
closet. That was cool.
I've been straight up like asleep since like Sunday, and we're recording this on a Tuesday. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. Actually, no, I was asleep like half a
Cosmic,
Saturday as well. So that was pretty tight.
There is something cool that happened. I did get the world's first ever. I got the
Blah.
world's first ever sub 58 in Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver All Bosses.
Oh
so-
my
Let's
goodness.
go.
Yeah, so
dude.
and I got that
Oh, yeah,
air
that's
pretty
marathon
dope.
run too. So
GG on the Vex run,
Oh,
by
nice.
the way.
Thank you.
was
Yeah,
on,
that was
on
that
the-
was also
Vex run.
that was also on
Yeah.
pace until if you ever want to watch like the funniest 5 minutes of your life, go to
swirl.
Flipping Skyplats. Yeah,
I
I
will
started by
say-
Flipping Skyplats, and then I got bodied by the snowball ice keys.
I
Oh my
will
God.
say that there was some bad mojo in the air from all the gold you were mentioning happening throughout the
Dude.
course of the run, and
You
I
were
was like,
asking
"Bro,
for it.
shut up." I was like,
asking
"Bro,
for
shut
it.
the fuck up. Shut up. Stop talking about it." And then you were like, "Oh yeah, this could be a world record," and you were like vibing hard.
I
you were
was
playing
getting
super
so
well.
tired
And then
because I
I
did Soul
saw
Reaver like the night before,
Meltdown.
and I was
I
I
saw the
melted down.
empire crumble around you, bro.
It was so good.
And I was like,
I mean, it was so bad.
and mind you, I wasn't feeling the greatest either. So I was like, please, universe, let my homie get a dub of some kind. And then he was like,
I
you know
went
what?
3
We're
minutes.
gonna go for the face
The
skip. And I was
tassel
like,
meat, yeah.
he's got this, you know. And then nope.
this close,
did
and
not
I
have
almost
It was literally just like it was like right there, dude. Just right there. And I was like, fuck, dude.
it was close, but it's like
It was overall a good run, though.
It was a good run, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, part of it too was just like I didn't have a lot of prep time because I had to prep for Soul Reaver for the night before because that was also a marathon run, and then Thanksgiving week was.
Maybe
we'll talk about that next episode. I don't know.
People were popping off in the chat about that game, so that was pretty cool to see.
Dude, Shovel Claws was so high during that run. I was talking to it after the fact, and like Claus was like, "Oh my god, this game is so sick. This makes me feel this kind of way about speedrunning and life in the universe." And I just DM it later. I'm just like, "The Zaza really got you connecting the dots right now. That's crazy."
Yeah.
Like,
it was quite hype, and I was like,
it was very gratifying.
I'm sure that Shovel Claws has seen this game before on Jaxler's channel. This should not be new footage. I could have sworn it tuned in for a couple of those streams.
Maybe for moments, but not.
Okay, not the whole game. Okay, fair enough.
I haven't. My best time in that game.
Yeah,
is
guys,
still
he never does
old.
a full run of Vex. You just see him do like
it's quite outdated
over and over again. It's really criminal.
Yeah. You need to just no reset and just actually get a time with the phase skip in it, bro.
True.
Yeah.
And just easy sub 130.
My PB doesn't have the controller disconnect at the start either. That was also a new thing. You can skip like an opening cutscene by just unplugging your controller. And it
Gaming
opens up a skip cutscene button. It's great. So like first split, I'm like minus 20, like every run. So it's like I should do it, but I also have to prep for GDQ. Yeah, because I got to prep for GDQ. I think come January though, I'm hungry. I want it. I want to. Because you know what's crazy too? The Hundo record has the phase skip, and the any % record doesn't.
That's funny.
And I gotta change that. But that's
I will be there, and then you should be subscribing and liking the video.
Goodbye forever.
And we will see you in the next one.